Let's try this again. I'm having a little trouble with my internet connection tonight. I don't know why. Hello, it's Jean. It's Thursday night. It's December the 30th, the last Thursday in December, the last Thursday in 2021, in fact. And it's time for the Conscious Creators Toolbox. We come every Thursday night, for about an hour, 7 to about 8 o'clock to kind of look at our creative powers, creative abilities, creative skills. Find out, talk a little bit about who we are, where we came from, who we belong to, and just kind of take those tools out of the box and sharpen them up, tune them up, get them ready to use, because we know that we are creators, we're manifestors, and we need to have everything ready and just able to go in our tool shed, in our toolbox. So every Thursday night we come in and we kind of talk a little bit about, we identify what those skills are, what those powers are, and just take them out and, fine tune them up. But I always start out just reminding who you are, and you are a conscious, aware, and awakened creator, created in the image of your creator, your maker. And we all call Father a lot of different names, but we know that He's God. He is the Creator. He is creation. He is, He's divine. He's universe. We call him universe sometimes. My neighbor downstairs calls him Fred. I don't know. I have a friend that calls him Mike. But whatever you call your source, your creator, your maker, we get serious about it, but Father laughs at us too sometimes because we get silly and crazy, but He, that's okay. That's okay. There's nothing you can do to stop your creator, your Father, your maker, your universe, your source. You cannot do anything to stop the love, and that's the main thing, because you are love. But anyway, you're created out of the same stuff the creator is created from, and creator can do all things. There's nothing that creator, there's nothing that Father, there's nothing that God cannot do but fail. So we can do what God can do. We can do what our source can do. We can do what our maker and our creator can do. And that is, we create and we manifest. We co-create with one another. We're unlimited, by the way. We're unlimited beings housed in this limited body, unfortunately. We're in a 3D, so we have some restrictions to 3D, three-dimensional. But we're not necessarily confined to the third dimension. And, as long as we're here in this body, yeah. But we're not here in this body forever. You know that. Our days are numbered. We don't always know what they are. But that being, that life, that source that's in us is an eternal source. It's an eternal life. It does not decay, die. It doesn't go back to the dirt. It doesn't do that, none of that stuff. It goes on and on and on into eternity and forever and ever, just like our maker, just like our Father does. And because we are like our maker, we are like our Father, we're like our source, we can do what Father and source and divine universe can do. And that is all things. That is everything. Father, divine, God withholds absolutely nothing from you, from us as His created. Okay? If God can do it, He makes sure that it's available to us to do, for us to do. We just have to acknowledge and be aware and awakened and conscious of who and what we are. And we manifest, we're creating absolutely all the time. You cannot not create, because that's what you do. You wake up in the morning and you start creating and manifesting all of the stuff that's happening, going on in your day. You created some of it yesterday, last week, or whenever, and it's got to come to manifestation today, now. Yay! So anyway, that's what we do. That's who we are. We are manifestors. We're creators. I pride myself on being a master manifestor, but that's just a name. I kind of pat myself on the back sometimes to try to build myself up, because we're supposed to do that too. We're supposed to build ourselves up, cheer ourselves on. Sometimes when the world is tossing things at us like COVID and colds and cancers and stuff, bills, whatever, we have to toss some things back. What I like to do is I like to toss, my best and my highest vibration back. And that's joy and love and laughter and happiness, So try your best to make me, get me all upset and angry. I've learned how to flip the switch on that, okay? But anyway, that's what we are. That's what we do. That's who we belong to. And tonight we are going to talk about manifestation. We're going to talk about it a little bit. We're going to talk about something that affects or that has an effect on our manifestation, and that's time. You know, when we think about it, we think about time, you know, we want to manifest this beautiful vacation. And okay, well, how long from the time that I wish for this or I desire this and I want this, will I be able to take this vacation? Okay, so we're going to talk about how long, about the time intervals. Time intervals associated with manifestation. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And but before I get started, I want to shout out to some folk that's on my team, and I'm so excited and so glad to have them part of my team. Thank you so very much, Quentin Johnson and John Wesley. Thanks so much for being a part of what we make every attempt to do with the Conscious Creators, and that is inform and educate and advocate for the conscious ones, the creators, the co-creators, the manifestors, those who we woke up, we're awake, and we want you to play it forward. Turn the alarm clock on for somebody else. Help wake them up, help make them and keep them and make them aware and help them be aware and awaken. And that's what we do. That's what we do with Conscious Creators, the Team Conscious Creators. We advocate for awareness, and we advocate for consciousness, conscious awareness, and awakened, and being the authentic person and the authentic manifestor, the authentic co-creator that you are. That's what we do. Appreciate John Wesley, who is a spiritual teacher, my mentor, in fact. Appreciate him coming on and posting and encouraging our members, and we love that. And our cosmic advisor, Quentin. Oh my God, you want to know something about astrology and the cosmos and Western and Eastern astrology and the difference between? Hey, we've got Quentin, and he has a love for that, and he shares it. And I've always told my kids, I don't care how much you know. You can't give it. You can't exhaust it by sharing it. So my thing is to share what we know, and that's what we do. Thanks, John. Thanks, Q, for being a part of Team Conscious Creators, and we got some things ready for you for 2022. We're so excited. I'm excited. I haven't actually told the guys yet what we got in mind, but they probably have an inkling. Yeah, they probably have an inkling. But we're gonna share it with you probably next, in a few weeks. We're gonna kind of, pour it out, lay it out to you, and let you know what we're hoping for, what we're planning to present next year, 2022. But anyway, hope everybody had a great Christmas, a wonderful holiday. I was fighting a cold here and there, and but I won. I'm better today. I think it was the first day I didn't have to, get up and gargle my throat and take all those lozenges. So I'm a little bit hoarse, but I feel a whole lot better than I felt in the past few days. But anyway, I hope everybody else had a great Christmas, enjoyed their families, got to go home for Christmas. It was no snow in Atlanta, but it's okay. It was kind of warm, it was kind of warm here in Atlanta. But anyway, I'm gonna just jump right into tonight, because I don't want to be forever, because I kind of got a treat for you. Anyway, like I said, we're gonna be talking about your manifestation, intervals for manifestation, and time, which is time. Takes time. So everything takes time. Everything takes time. But let me just let you know or remind you that I'm sure that most of you know already that time really is an illusion. All right, time is an illusion, but we're conscious creators. We are manifestors. Just like I said, the magicians and the jesters use the illusion of time to do their tricks and do whatever they do. We use it too in a way. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. The topic tonight is time is an illusion. However, we use what we have to use to manifest what we want and what we desire, what we dream, and what we wish for. All right? Okay. So time is an illusion. All right, and you've probably heard that from time forever. You've probably always heard that little quote, time is an illusion. What does that mean? What are you talking about, time is an illusion? Well, it really truly is. Time is one of the three that I call the three greatest illusions for any time or anywhere, whatever. And that is, time is an illusion, along with space is an illusion, along with separation is an illusion. All those three things are illusions, but we're going to concentrate on time tonight. But I say time is an illusion, but if you believe in your imagination, if you believe that your imagination is real, if you believe that you got one and it's real and it does its thing, and what it does is good, and what it does is it's prosperous and beneficial to you, it's real. It's not a pretend thing. It's not an illusionary thing. It is real. My imagination is real. If you know that, you believe that without a single doubt, let me tell you what it does to time. Time is no longer a problem. The fact that it's an illusion is not a problem. It's not a problem for your imagination. It's not a problem for you as a creator. Doesn't matter that it's an illusion. Might be an issue. It might be somewhat of an issue because we are time conscious, if you know what I mean. We kind of buy into that illusion and kind of set our lives and condition ourselves up according to that illusion. So because of that, it can be an issue, but it is not a problem. In other words, it don't stop nothing. Okay, we can still manifest, we can still create, we can still have the lives and have the things that we want, and believe it or not, we can have it pretty much when we want to, if we understand the whole issue surrounding time. Okay, so I'm going to kind of help you with that tonight. So, what do I mean? What am I talking about when I say that time is an illusion? You might be asking, well, like there's 24 hours in a day. That's time, yeah. There's 7 days in a week. There's 52 weeks in a year, and we just finished up 364 days, these past 364 days, and we've got one more to go, and we're going to be done with the year. That's time too, Gene. What you talking about? Well, yeah. I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to argue that point tonight because, I'm not a quantum physicist or nothing like that. I might have to get somebody on that is a quantum physicist and have him explain or she explain that to you. But I'm not one. So I'm not going to argue that point tonight. Yes, there's 24 hours in a day. There's 7 days in a week. There's 52 weeks in a year. 66 days in a year as well. And hey, we just spent 364 of them. We got one more to go until we start a new annual or yearly period beginning on January the 1st, which is on the calendar, which also is one of our timekeepers. Okay, so like I said, I'm not arguing that point at all. I'm not going to waste my illusionary time to even discuss it any further. Okay, but what I will say is I will give you the definition of time of illusion. I want to give you the definition of illusion, and this is actually a dictionary definition of illusion. And it said that an illusion is an idea or belief that is not true. All right, okay. Well, yeah. Remember, I'm not arguing that point with you because there's 24 hours in my day too. Yeah. And then there was 12 months in this year. Yeah. So, and one of those months was my birthday month. So, hey, I'm not arguing that. So I'm going to look at it, flip it a little bit and look at it another way. Another definition of illusion, which this might be a little bit easier for me to squeeze into since I'm not a physicist or a quantum person. I can barely spell it. Anyway, an illusion, according to dictionary number 2, is something that is not really what it seems to be. All right? Now, I may be able to sell you on that, okay? Because time isn't exactly what it seems to be. Now, I'm not going to start, I'm not going to sit here and try to explain that to you at this point, but what I will do is I'm going to hopefully share some information with you where you will, if you believe that time is real and time is not an illusion and it's real, that after we finish tonight, I'm hoping that you will either scratch your head and say, maybe I need to call that physicist or that quantum person, that quantum scientist and talk to them. Maybe I should go back to the drawing board, and maybe I should call my my second grade teacher who taught me how to tell time to help me understand this. But anyway, we're going to start there. Yeah, the definition that I want you to be comfortable with tonight, because I can't sell you on the other one probably, that illusion, the illusion of time, the illusion time is not it's not what it seems to be, all right? All right? So I'm going to go back to that first statement that I made. Time is, and I'm going to use that it's not what it seems to be, okay? Time as it seems to be is one of the greatest illusions along with space and separation. But if you believe in your imagination, that illusion is not a problem for you. That illusion may be an issue for you, but it's not a problem for you. Your imagination can deal with that illusion, that issue of time that that appears to be something that it really is not, okay? All right. Talking about your imagination, this is laying the groundwork here tonight. How many of you acknowledge, agree, and without a doubt, totally today will sit there, wherever you are, and say, I have an imagination. All right? I'm one. I will do that. I will also sit here and say, I believe in my imagination. All right? I really, truly believe in my imagination. My imagination is a very intricate, mysterious sometimes, mystic part of who I am. All right? If I did not have an imagination, if I didn't have one, I don't believe that I would be sitting here animating, talking to you and expressing and sharing my understanding tonight. Because I believe that my imagination, and I'm gonna go the gene step out here. I know that my imagination is that God piece, that God self, that God part of me, that piece that connects me with my source. That connects me with my source. That imagination is what assures me of who I am and whose I am. It also gives me access to my source, right? Now, me and my source, we don't talk language like in English like I do with you and you, or Spanish with my amigas and my amigos, but we talk and we communicate. And it takes me having that imagination in order to respond and to relate and to connect and to resonate with source, right? Because source is not a man like you and I. Source is not a human being like you and I sitting here talking to each other, and we can gab and joke and laugh and crack a joke and just tell it like it is. We have to have a different way of communicating. And in order for me to communicate and to have that connection and that relationship, I need something like my imagination to do that. Now, all of you know how I am about my guru, Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard goes a few steps farther, and I kind of play with this idea too, because, I like to kind of hang with my guru, I like to, my teacher. So what Neville Goddard says about our imagination, Neville Goddard calls our imagination that God self, or the Christ in us, all right? All of us call God, and all of us have our different names for Father and our divine connections. And Neville calls our imagination that Christ piece, that Christ part, that Christ spirit, or that Christ. Basically, he calls it Christ. He calls it, our imagination is that Christ life in us. And we know what that Christ life is. That Christ life is this connection, the spirit of God. That part of us that is the God piece of us. So that's what Neville calls it. And I'm not going to argue that, because that sounds pretty good to me. Because of all the things that I know that my imagination can do, it's got to be all about God. Okay? So yes, I believe in my imagination. All right? And I hope you do too. But what I want to say, and I want to kind of like a sidebar on this is a sidebar. If you do not acknowledge or recognize or have your imagination somewhere on a, somewhere, on the top 5, hopefully, like mine's at number 1. But if it's not that top 5, then what I want to suggest for you to do, if you don't really believe that you have one, or you have a little bit shaky about it, you know how to use it, you think it's kid stuff, you outgrew that, you don't need that anymore. What I want to invite you to do is I want you to go find a group of kids somewhere, and I want you to take a refresher course on imagination. All right, and I want you to learn from them, or be reminded by them how to use your imagination, and how important it is to get from morning to night. Because without the imagination, your kids would probably be sitting somewhere, sucking their thumbs, twiddling their fingers, wondering when you're going to change the TV station, whatever. But they're not. They will be kind of not very animated. Okay, so watch a child. If you have any doubt, or if you lack the belief in your imagination, just borrow a couple of kids and take a refresher course. Okay, because you have one, and you use it. And honestly, you're a manifester, you're a creator, you create by default. Your imagination is working by default. Okay? All right. So, but seriously, even though we dream and we wish and we desire and we have wants and things, it's that part of our imagination. It's all of those wishes and wants and desires that we have, and those dreams that we come up with, they're stuff that's made from our imagination. That's where they come. That's where we get the pictures, and that's where we get the ideas, and that's where we get the what it looks like, the images that we see, or just the ideas. They say that the desires of our hearts come from God. God gives us the desires of our heart. And again, remember, God doesn't speak to us in Gina, hey, let's go to Tahiti, how about a trip to Tahiti? No. He gives it to me in dreams. He gives it to me in unctions. He gives it to me in ideas and beliefs that come up, that appear to me. Signs, or I can be looking at something, I want one of those. I would like to do that. I would like to, and that's how our desires come to us, through our imagination. All right. So you do have an imagination, because if you have a dream, if you have a desire, if you have wants and wishes, they are all babies from your imagination. They're little seeds from your imagination that build up until you can start seeing all the details of that dream and that wish and that desire. So you do have an imagination. We may have to go play with some kids and hang out with some kids, go to nursery school, go back to kindergarten, and get a refresher course. But you got it. You have one. So, and maybe, just maybe, as we make these dreams and have these pictures and we create these pictures, that's the start. That's just the beginning. The dreams, the desires, the wishes, and the wants, those are just the beginning of your reality that you want to create, and you want the beginning of your manifestation, the beginning of the life that you're creating for yourself, because you use your imagination to come up with the ideas and the desires and the dreams and the wishes to start with. And they start out. They start out with as ideas. They start out as beliefs and desires and intangible things. And they're off in another realm. They're not in the natural. They're not in the physical realm. They're not here on earth. We can't touch it and we can't actually experience it yet. But if we dream vividly enough, or just an avid dreamer, or just a serious dream and desires, we can manifest or create or produce the feeling of already having the things that we want and we desire. And that feeling and those pictures, along with the feeling that we produce with our imagination, it's all imaginary, because it's not something that we've brought into our physical reality yet to experience and to have and to hold. But just the mere fact that we can dream it and we can see it and we can feel it and get the excitement and get our blood pumping and our heart, pumping in anticipation for it, expectation for it, that in itself is proof that it is absolutely possible. One of the things that Neville says too is just the fact that you can see it in your imagination. You can produce it in your imagination. That picture, those feelings that you have, sometimes you can even smell the sea or whatever. You can actually, close your eyes and actually be there. That is the promise of the manifestation. All of that, all of being able to see it, being able to sense it in some mystical way, mysterious way. Your heart start feeling it. You start really feeling that you're there, you're doing it, you're having it, you're being it. Whatever it is that you dream and you want, you start really feeling it. That is the promise that it's yours. That all that's left is for it to materialize and to come into your 3D world, into your life, into your reality, right? That's the basic of manifestation. You imagine it. You do all of the bells and whistles that go with that imagination, that picture, that visual. That's the promise. That's the promise. That's the Christ promise. That's the God promise that it's yours. It can be yours. And all you have to do now is bring it, have it come into your reality, into your presence, into your experience. So we're going to talk about that. To the manifester and to the creator, the illusion of time, again, may be an issue, but illusion of time is not a problem. Not for God. God don't work on a timetable. Not really. He does cycles. We have a cyclic world or cyclic environment and all that, but God doesn't work on timetables. He doesn't work on clocks. He doesn't work on calendars and maps and things like that. God has his own, his own way of figuring out when and how and all that part. But time is not a problem. Time is not a problem. It's not even an issue for God. It's not a problem for God, and it's not a problem for you. Not at all, right? It's not a problem for you because you are a manifester. You are created in the image of your Father. You're created in the image of God. If it's not a problem for God, it's not going to be a problem for you. We just have to figure out the issue part. What is the issue with it? And let's see if we can work with that issue. So we'll talk a little bit about that. It's God. If you believe that your imagination is true, it's real, and you know who you are and what you are, whose you are, you know that you are endowed with all of the power and the abilities and skills and the know-how that God has available to you. And you know that because you have that connection with God. You have a direct connection with your source. Nothing. And again, you're only limited And you're only restricted, your access to God and what you get and receive back and forth from God is only restricted by your limitation, your perception, your limited perception of who God is. My God can do all things. There is nothing that my God can not do. I know that God can do all things. Therefore, so can I. Because I have access to my source. I'm connected to God. As long as I maintain that connection and have that light going in and out of me, I have access. I may not completely understand how to do it yet, but given time, my connection with my source will lend itself to help me understand what I don't understand about my ability and powers to manifest. Because I know that if God can, I can. All right? So God spoke. Okay, you know as God knows how to use and utilize time. You may not know it right now, but you know that information is accessible to you because you know that you have the connection. So you just got to figure out how to get the information passed back to you. So anyway, you know as God knows how to use and utilize time, or the illusion of time, as part of your master manifestation skills and your master manifestation powers and abilities. You have that available to you. You can do it. God spoke and it came to be. God said and it was. You are as God. So you can speak and it be, and it is, or you can speak and it can come about. It can come to be. Because you are your Father's created. And created like Father and your source. God made you just like that, to be able to do that. And again, your source, your Father, your divine universe does not withhold anything from you. Anything. So remember that. In your imagination, the happy ending, when you imagine something, and you imagine the wish fulfilled, or that you imagine yourself receiving and having it in your imagination, it's already happened. It's already happened in your imagination. And so the rest of the journey, and that part of that journey is bringing yourself into the experience of that wish fulfilled or that happy ending. That's the journey that you hopefully after tonight will learn to enjoy rather than worry about or fret over or try to figure out. All right. I think I posted something earlier that manifestation is God's job. To manifest is God's job. God gave you the dream. God gave you the desire. God gave you the idea, the wish. And God can manifest it and produce it and make. What our job is to prepare ourselves to receive it, right? And preparing ourselves to receive it does not mean sitting down and figuring out how to get it to you. No. The manifesting is God's thing. Your thing is to prepare yourself for it and enjoy the ride along the way, all right? Maybe you'll pick up a few things on the way in the process. You're a manifester? Yeah, this is how you do it. You do it with that God source that's in you. You don't do it with your mind that is limited. You don't do it with your hands and feet and mouth and all those other things. No. You don't have to go to the drawing board and say, oh, I wish this, so let me figure out how to. No. That's not how manifestation works. No. God manifests. Your manifestation is that God self, that God part of you, not that human physical part of you. All right? Because I'm going to tell you that human physical part of you has not a clue as to what all it takes to bring you whatever it is you want. Just the simplest thing. The simplest thing that you may desire. You have no idea all of the stops and the goes and the people and how to put it all together. You don't. So you have to rely on Source to do that. All right? And when Source needs your physical help, Source will contact you via your God self, your intuition, and then you set up that communication some kind of way and then get the word to you that, okay, Jean, you need to go over here and do such and you need to do this. And you're like, oh, okay. And then you often do it. But if I'm trying to do what I think I need to do, first of all, I'm going to get in the way. And at the best of it, it's going to be useless. It's going to be time wasted. That I'm going to be tired and frustrated and upset because I've done all this. I've tried all this. I've tried to figure out, and I still can't get my manifestation. I can't get this job that I want. I can't get this car that I'm trying to get. I can't get this new purse that I want. You know, I'm doing everything I can do. I just cannot figure out how to get the money to do it. I can't figure out how to get the guy to deliver it. I can't do all that. But who can do that is your God source. God can do that. Your source can do that. Right? So remember, your job is to prepare yourself. Sit back and kick back and be cool. You ain't got to worry about it. You got your wish. You had the vision. You had the imagination. That's good as done. All right? All you got to do is be faithful to that vision. Be faithful to that wish. Be faithful to that desire. And don't get frustrated because it don't come like yesterday. All right? All right? Okay. All right. Okay. So we got the imagination down. We know who and what and how manifestations come about. Okay. Tonight, what I want to do is I want to share with you something that is helpful because I'm actually sharing something that I've shared with my clients before often, and I will say probably I'm going to say 90% of my clients when they get frustrated with trying to manifest something, it's all about the time. They're frustrated because it takes time. Why does it take so long? Or why isn't it happening? My imagination is doing, it's on point, and I've got pictures of it. I can feel myself, but it's just not happening. So how long does it take? So someone asked me a few months ago. He may be listening. He asked me a few months ago to explain about the interval of time that it takes between receiving having a wish, having a desire, having a want, wanting something to manifest into your life, and to bring it to your life, and what happens in that interval of time, and so why does it take so long? Sometimes it seems like it takes forever, and then other times, other people want things, and it just seems to come just at the drop of, just almost instantaneously, or tomorrow, or the next day, or whatever. What's happening? So what about the interval? So what I did is I remembered something that I read years and years ago, again by my guru, Neville Goddard. And it was a book. It was one of his books, one of the first books that I read by him. What was the title of that book? Was Your Fortune, Your Faith is Your Fortune. Your faith is your fortune. And this is actually a lecture, one of his lectures in that book. And what I want to do tonight is I want to read and paraphrase and read and share what he said. And I'm going to try to finish it. I'm going to look and see how much time I've got. I'm going to be able to finish it. I want to finish it if I can. Yeah, I think I can. All right. Okay. And it's like I said, the title of the book, if you are interested in finding that book, it's called Your Faith is Your Fortune by Neville Goddard. And Goddard is spelled Goddard. And actually, again, this is something that I've referred to my clients quite often when they get frustrated with waiting for their manifestation and not really understanding how to use the time interval, or how to even figure out the time interval in a manifestation. So this is what I read years and years ago, and it's something that I've applied to my life quite frequently. So anyway, this is from Neville. Now, I think I told you that Neville Goddard was a Bible student, kind of like me. He grew up in a Christian faith, Christian church, Christian home. He was Catholic, though. But he was a devout, he was a good little Catholic boy. And he grew up and he started studying, he even studied Hebrew and Greek later on, you may want to read a little story about, little information about him. But he has a lot of background in the Bible. And his interpretation and his take on the Bible is somewhat controversial. Sometimes I will say, I'm just going to be honest. But he, it's something that you can apply, and I love Neville. One of the things that I love about Neville is that he won't argue, because everybody has their Bible, everybody has their interpretation, everybody has their perception. But what he does is he lays it out, what's given to him, what the Spirit and what God and what he, under his understanding, he gives it to you, and he says, try it, prove it for yourself. You hear what I say, I share what has worked for me. You try it and see if it works for you. So and again, I'm going to say tonight that if you have an opportunity to read Neville, try it. Even though it sounds like, well, that sounds like, that doesn't make any sense. Really, it's not. There's a lot of things in the Bible that doesn't make any sense to our brains and to our minds, because it was spiritual. It's talking spiritual. It's just, But anyway, I'm starting. Here we go. Paraphrasing. And it's, again, from a lecture from Faith is Your Fortune by Neville Goddard. He starts this particular reading off with these verses from John chapter 14, verse 1 through 3. Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. And where I am, there ye may be also. Okay? That is Jesus. That was Jesus Christ talking to his disciples. He was talking about that he was getting ready to actually go to Calvary to be crucified, giving himself over to the government to be tried and crucified. And that's what was happening. The disciples probably did not quite understand that, but Jesus knew. Jesus knew what was about to happen. But the disciples were kind of confused, like, where are you going? Hey man, where you going? You're like, we got something to do. We got things to do here. Where you going? And we want to go too. Well, why can't we go? So Jesus was telling them, he was using this to explain to them that you can't go where I'm going right now. Not right now, but you can go. I'm going to go, and then I'm going to come back for you. Okay? Now, this particular verse, again, it's not something literal. It's not, I'm going to die, and, this wasn't what he was talking about. He was talking about a spiritual return, an imagination, if you would. Something that the imagination, it wasn't a physical going to come back and get you. No, that wasn't what he was talking about, okay? So let's just clear that up before I go any further. Anyway, I've got to go on. Neville Goddard. This is Neville Goddard's again, and I'm quoting from his lecture. The me, the M-E, the me, in whom you must believe is your consciousness or your imagination, all right? The I am, where I am going and coming back, is God. It is also the Father's house, containing within itself all of the conceivable states of consciousness. And basically, again, what that is saying is that the me, when Jesus said, if you believe in me, if you believe in God, you believe in me. So if you believe in Father, you believe in me. And me is, again, your imagination, your consciousness, your awareness, that God piece of you. You believe that God piece of you. If you believe God, you believe in imagination. If you believe in God, you believe in your consciousness. You believe in your awareness. You believe in your imagination. You believe in that part of you that is God, all right? And that's the God self. So he says, the me in whom you must believe is your consciousness, and the I am is God. It is also the Father's house that contains within itself all the conceivable states of consciousness. The states of consciousness that Neville Goddard is speaking of here is the manifestations, the things that you desire, your dreams, your desires, your wants, your wishes, your heart's desires. Those are the mansions, or those are the rooms, or those are the houses that are in the Father's house. It's contained in God's house. Everything that you can even ever imagine, whether it's something that has never been seen in this world, or if you can imagine it, trust me, it is it's in God's world, okay? It's in the unknown recesses of eternity, okay? It's not distant or absent from God, okay? So anything that we can imagine, anything we can desire, anything we want, God is available to God. And we have a piece of us, our consciousness, our awareness, that imagination that is connected to Source, that gives us access to communicate and connect and be with, if you would. Like Jesus said, Father and I are one. That connection makes you one with your Source, with God, all right? Every conditioned state of consciousness is called a mansion. Conditioned statement, what Neville is saying here basically is your dreams, those things that you have put your name on, you've tagged, you've dreamed them, you've desired them. You know what it feels like once you know what it's going to feel like when you get them. That's condition. The conversation that takes place, that is taking place in all of this, is the conversation within yourself. You know, your I am, Neville again, your I am, the unconditioned consciousness, God, which is not conditioned. He has no need to be conditioned because he's not a man that he should be conditioned, okay? Like us, we got to be conditioned so that we can keep up with the time, okay? But anyway, God, your I am, the unconditioned consciousness is the Christ Jesus speaking to the conditioned, all right? The conditioned Gene, the conditioned John, the conditioned Andrew, all those disciples. That's who God, Christ, Jesus was talking to when he said, I am going to prepare that place, that awareness, that mansion, that consciousness, that thing that you want, that dream that you want. And once I prepare it, I'm going to come back and I'm going to take you there so you can be with me where I am. You can be too. All right. So your I am, the unconditioned consciousness, is the Christ speaking to the conditioned consciousness, the me, the Gene, the Janet, the Norma, the Q, the John. I am John. I am John. I am Gene. Now, from a mystical standpoint, Neville says, the two beings, namely Christ and John, are two different. I am and John are two different they're separate, but they're one. All right? Okay? Because when I'm talking, when I'm saying I am Gene, mystically, just mysteriously or mystically, I am God talking to Gene. And Gene, I am. All right? And that's where Jesus was so adamant to say that God and I are one. Because when he can say, I am Jesus, I am Gene, then God in me is the God in me is Gene. The God in me is God. And here I am, Gene. It's a mystery. It's just one of those mysteries that hopefully your consciousness and your awareness and your relationship, your connection with God will help you work that out, because that's very, very important. It's a very important piece of understanding and really appreciating and knowing who you are. Okay, going back to Neville. So I go, we're going back to Neville's back to his lecture. So I go to prepare a place for you, moving from the present, he says, the present state of here we are. We're talking about the things that you want, the things that you desire, the things that you desire, that you wish for, that you're hoping for, that you're dreaming about. We're here, but I'm going to have to leave here. This is again, it's God. This is God's consciousness talking. I'm going to have to leave here, and I'm going to have to go into that desired state, that dream place, that dream that you have outlined or have, imagined. I'm going to go there. And it is, and that's a promise. The promise is the dream. The promise is the desire. The promise is the wish. So I'm going to go into that promise or awareness, leaving the present, going there, and I'm going to prepare and make ready for you that which you desire and that which you dream. All right. Hopefully I didn't lose anybody. I may have to go back over that sometime. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post this lecture. But anyway, he goes on to say that man is such a slave to time if after he has appropriated a state, and appropriate means that he's actually imagined it, he's felt it, he's actually dreamed and seen himself in it. After we've done all of that, and we're aware that it can be, we receive that as a promise for it is going to be, it's ours. Even after that, after we've appropriated and we're so assured that we have it, we start doubting. We just almost immediately doubting. Man is such a slave to time that if after he has appropriated a state of consciousness, which is not yet seen in the present, in the physical world, the appropriated state does not, if it does not immediately embody itself, it does not immediately by magic, materialize right in front of them, he loses faith. He loses faith in his unseen claim, his promise, and then he drops it. He drops it. He says, it's not happening. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit. I'm going to deviate and paraphrase. He drops it. He just lets it go. And we do that. We have this desire. We want it, and we're excited about it, but it doesn't come when we think it ought to come and when it should come and when we want it to come. So we say, well, maybe it's not for me, or maybe, maybe I should want something different, or maybe I should change that, or whatever. We start trying to modify it and try to figure out why it's not coming and what we need to do and what did I say wrong or whatever. And my clients say, what did I do wrong? What am I doing wrong? What am I saying wrong, Gina? I have these dreams and have this imagination. I want to write this book. I want to do it. What's wrong? Why is it not happening? Well, because you haven't remained steadfast to it. You haven't remained committed to it. You haven't remained just locked into that promise. You haven't grabbed onto that promise and say, I'm not going anywhere until it happens. That time thing is throwing you off, all right? So anyway, Neville says, I have found it's very helpful. This is what he says. He says that when it doesn't, when you drop it and then you return to your former state of, not having it, and then you're frustrated and you're angry, you return to that state of not having it. Because of the limitation that we are, and we are limited as man, beings inside, this body kind of restricts us to a point, okay? But remember, we're not forever bound to this body. This is just a temporary house for a period of time. We have an internal part of us that, we're just hanging in here for 100 or so years. I don't know. But because of this limitation of man, Neville says, I have found it very helpful to employ a specific interval of time in making this journey into a prepared mansion. Now, this is where it's going to get a little bit more mystical because Neville got it was pretty mystical. But anyway, he says, he uses this scripture, and it's from Job 36:2. He says, wait but a while. Wait but a little while. We have all, listen carefully at this, we have all cataloged the different days of the weeks, months of the year, and seasons. We've cataloged them. We know what Monday feels like. We know what Friday feels like. We know what the weekend feels like. We know what January feels like. We know what December feels like. We know what it feels like to be in Christmas or New Year's or birthdays. Easter. We know how it feels. Okay, so we've cataloged those in our conditioning self. Tied to time, we've conditioned ourselves to know without looking at the calendar most times. Just our routine and our way that we come and go. We've conditioned ourselves and cataloged these days and what they look like and feel like and what they seem like. Okay, Neville goes on to say, I have said time and time again, he said, why today feels like Sunday or Monday or Saturday. We have also said in the middle of the summer that it feels like winter. Or just yesterday, I said it felt like summer because it was it was warm. It was like 70 degrees, and 70 degrees in December is not December. It's not winter, but so it feels like. So it feels like summer. It feels like summer. Okay, this is positive proof that you and I. This is Neville talking. This is positive proof that you and I have defined feelings associated with these days, or months, or seasons of the year. Because of this association, we can at any time use this conditioning that we had. It's an illusion, but we can use this illusion. We can use this illusion to our benefit. And he's going to show you how. He says that because of this association, we can at any time consciously dwell in that day or season, whichever we select. If we decide to want to, feel like Sunday, I can right now in my imagination, because I know what it feels like to be on a Sunday, I can imagine a Sunday and I can dwell there. I can be there. I can have the Sunday experience on Thursday. I can. You can have the middle of July spirit on December the 30th, if you want to. All you need to do is you can have July the 4th. You can have, stick some flags up, put some flags going around and, get some fireworks and shoot them off. And we can make it feel like July the 4th. Okay. So we can do that. That's what we have that unique ability that we can do that. It's a good knack we have. For instance, I was just for me, and as I was reading this, I was thinking about when I retired a few years ago. That first month, I was just bebopping around and just having myself a good old time. And all of a sudden, I just stopped one day and I said, "What is today? What is today?" I was no longer working in my conditioning at Monday through Friday going to work. And every day was the weekend. All of a sudden, every day felt like the weekend. So I stopped one day and I had to stop and really figure out. And the calendar didn't help because I looked at it and said, "Well, yeah, but which day is it?" So I was feeling like every day was the weekend. So I get it. I really get it. When I read this, I said, "Yeah, that's true. I've done that before." Again, I did it just the other day because it was hot. Because of this association, we can at any time consciously dwell in any day or any season that we choose. But do not selfishly define this interval in days and hours because you are anxious to receive it, whatever it is that you're wishing for. But simply remain in the conviction that it's done, okay? Time being purely relative should be eliminated entirely, basically. And just understand, don't even worry about the time. Don't even worry about the time. Don't even worry about the interval. Just know that if you want to go, say if you want to go on a vacation, you know how it feels to be on a vacation. So just, go to your vacation time and just feel yourself there. You don't have to worry about what day it is per se, unless you wanted, you're going in June or you're going in December, then you make it a winter day, or you make it I think you get his point here. You're conditioned. We have conditioned ourselves to days of the weeks and seasons because by the way it feels to us and how what's going on, the action, what's happening, and we can feel it. So you know your wish, you know when you want to see it happen. Just go there in your with your imagination and be there. Because the thing with Neville, he says, always go to the wish fulfilled and dwell there, stay there long enough to at least get the feeling, because the feeling is what it's actually the glue or the magnet that brings that manifestation to you, right? That's what motivates your subconscious God self to go to work to do it, okay? Because and it's good that you have that, because we want a lot of stuff. We want a lot of stuff. And then when we second think it, I don't really want that. So make sure that when you start putting your feelings and your real commitment in it, that you want it, because guess what? They say be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for with feelings, because when you wish for something with feelings, that prompts your subconscious, your God self, to bring it to you. That activates the promise, right? The ability to dwell at any point in time permits us to employ time in our travel into our moving into our wish fulfilled, okay? Because we can do this, it permits us to use time. I said it's not a problem, it's an issue. Now we can use that illusion, because it is an illusion. Really, I mean, it was a time that there was no calendars. They were just going from moon to sun up to sundown to moon, there was no calendars. This is just, this is not a thing that's been going around forevermore, from day one when, God said, let there be light. He didn't say, okay, make it January 1st. No, he did not do that, okay? So we developed that. It's something that we wanted to do because we wanted control, I guess. I don't know why we did it. But anyway, we did it. I'm going to read on. Now, consciousness, God, goes to a point in time and there prepares your wish, your mansion, your house, your dream. And if consciousness goes to such a point in time and prepare a place, consciousness, God, shall return to this point, to this day, Thursday, and get you and get me and pick me up and take me into my promise day and time and place and whatever's going on, whatever that dream is. That's where I am is. So that's where I'm going to be, right? God has prepared that. I am has prepared that. And now he's come for me, got all the, pulled everything together, got everybody hired that needed to be hired to, bring this about. Got the, the captain on the ship and everything. The ship was all, whatever, ready. And there you go. He comes back for you and your ticket, you've got your ticket, you've got your passport, you got everything ready and you're ready. You and your family's ready, got your shots and everything. You guys are ready to get on that ship and go. All right? Because the ship is waiting for you. Because I am came back to get you, to take you there. All right? Now, Neville says, as John, he says, I can do nothing as John. As Jean, I cannot manifest on my own. As Jean, the person, the physical Jean, I can't do it. As John, I can do nothing. But since all things are possible to God, and God I know to be my consciousness, that awareness, that God piece of me, of my being, I can realize my desire in a little while. It doesn't have to take forever. It takes forever if I'm going to do it. If Jean's going to do it, it's going to take forever. But I don't have to worry about forever if God is doing it. How my desires will be realized, don't ask me how. I have no clue. If I ask God, he would just probably look at me and say, you don't have enough time. Go get on the boat, take your trip. So we don't know. We don't know what all has to be done behind the scenes. For something simple. We do not know how long and how much it took to get it. to get it to the store so when you got there, it was there for you to pick up. You don't know that. We don't know. We don't have time to know it all either. Anyway, with this belief, just with knowing this and understanding this, understanding this, with this belief firmly established, decide what would be a relative time. Now, understanding this, knowing this, what would be a relative time for you to desire a vacation and to go on a vacation, right? Say if you want to go on and say, yeah, I want to go on a vacation in July. Well, here it is December. So, okay, from December, so in July, know that I'm going to be on a plane or boat or something going to Tahiti. I don't know how. I don't know how. Not even sure about the money in the bank yet, But that's my dream. I feel it. I felt it. I saw the hotel that I'm going to be, the cab driver that picked me up at the airport. I saw all that. And I was excited. And I had, the kids were in the car with me. And we were just excited. We were just laughing. So I felt it. So it's happening. The promise is already in making. So all I'm doing now is I'm just going to be ready. I'm going to be prepared and I'm going to be tuned into my God self. So if God says, somebody called, the phone's going to, if you're going to get a call tomorrow and they're going to call and want you to do an extra job and you're going to get paid for it. And hey, that's a way for me, whatever needs to be done. Whatever needs to be done to make sure that you're on the plane or the bus or the ship rather to get to Tahiti, trust me. No, take that back. Trust God. Trust your God self to know that it is all in the workings and all in the makings. When you need to be called into action, just be ready. That's your part. Is be prepared. Be prepared to go when it's time to get on the plane, or be prepared to step up and do something that will bring you closer to your dream and to your wish fulfilled. Again, let me remind you that you are not to shorten the interval. Okay, you know that you want to go in July. Don't change your mind all of a sudden and say, you know what, I think, 2 weeks later, I think I want to pull that up and maybe I'm going May. Know what you want. Understand what you desire. Understand what you're wishing for and stay with that. Stick with that. You start slipping around, you start fooling around with that illusionary time thing, you may have a problem, because then basically what you're saying is that you're not sure what you want yet, and you go back and you look and was I really excited? Well, no, I wasn't. Allow the manifestation to unfold in your life through whatever your God self, God, your I am, the Christ spirit, that consciousness brings into you to do. All right. I'm going to probably have to leave it there because I'm a little bit over an hour. But what I will do is I will post this because it goes into a little bit more details, kind of talk to you and kind of walk you through manifesting something. Say you want, say it's Thursday and you want, I think I can pull this off by Sunday. So he kind of walks you through how to visualize or how to imagine yourself and in a Sunday. And again, you know what Sunday feels like. So he helps you, kind of walks you through that with him. So what I'll do is I'll post this on the site. But basically, I think I've kind of given you enough, not enough to think about anyway, to understand. You're not asked to write the detailed plan of your dream. You're not. The only thing you're asked, the only thing is required of you is to be confident in what it is that you have a desire for, what you want, what you wish for. Have the confidence in it and truly, truly believe that it's yours. That if you can visualize it, if you can, take that back, if you can imagine it and using your imagination, feel it, then that's promise enough that it is yours. And all you need to do is prepare to receive it, because your consciousness, God will go into wherever it needs to go into and make a way and prepare it for you. Then come back and bring you there. Because where God is, you will always be. All right? I'm going to leave it at that tonight. It's kind of exciting. I may have to kind of pick it up and try it again. Try to kind of do part 2 on this maybe later, because Neville's pretty simple. He breaks it down very simple in my opinion. And again, it may sound silly, far-fetched, or whatever sometimes when you're reading, but he dares you to try it. And he dares you, and really, he dares you to try it, and he dares you to fail. And I promise you that if you try it, if you do it, if you truly are committed, confident, believing, you can't fail. You can't fail. Because God is true. God is true to who God is, and you are true to who God says you are. You just have to stick with it, okay? I'm done tonight. I was almost finished, but I'm running out of time. But I will post the PDF. I'll post a PDF on probably on my website, www.teamconsciouscreators.com, so that you can hear it, or you can maybe just look it up. You can kind of find that book. It's called Your Faith is Your Fortune, and it's it's a group of lectures in that particular one. I think it was, I'm not sure which chapter it is, but it's one of his lectures where he's actually talking about time intervals, how to use time intervals and the issues of time in your manifestation. Because people do get kind of caught up. Let me say this real quick, and I'm going to be done. Do not, just get frustrated, so frustrated that you give up on your dream, that you give up on your wishes, that you give up on your desires. Because honestly, truthfully, if you could imagine it, you can have it. You can do it. You can be it. You can be there. You can. God said it. Jesus confirmed it. And I've proven it a few times myself. Neville's proven it in his lifetime too. So I'm done. Happy New Year, guys. We'll see you next year. I won't. I'll be here probably on Sunday for 7 at 7. Your mini life coach session on Sunday. But I won't see you until next year. So just a day or so away, huh? But anyway, you guys be safe. If you're out, love you guys. Love you too. If you guys get out and about, just be safe. Wear your mask. I know COVID and that new thing that starts with an O is kind of, out and about. And if you got, and my Bajan friends in Barbados, so sorry it hit the island. I understand. I got a text this morning that it hit the island sometime today. And, but it's bound to be there. But anyway, continue to be safe. Love on each other and manifest best. Manifest best. And remember, manifestation is God's thing. You just be prepared. Your part of manifestation is being confident, holding on to the dream, holding on to the promise, and just waiting for it to unfold, and waiting for God to come get you and bring you back. Take care. I love you because God loves you. Take care, and I will see you next time. Good night.